Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Thunder Ducky. Got a reaction video for you here. Now, as I've said in one of my videos, let me move the camera just a smidgy. That way there's room. That's a little too high. Fuck it. I've worked fast food, McDonald's for 2 years, and there was the whole meltdown of the leftists with the whole Trump working McDonald's for that shift or however long he actually ended up being there. And this girl right here, I know she did a video about it and her channel boomed. Like she's got like 3,000 subs, around 3,000. I think it's 2,930 something, at the moment of recording this. And this video here has like 63,000 views. So it turned out to be a pretty big success for her. So I'm going to go ahead and check it out if the cat doesn't freak out the entire time that I'm doing this. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and hop into it. Make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, turning on your bell notification. Her channel name is Crafts with Hanny or Hani, and her video is titled "What Trump Going to McDonald's Means to Me." 64,000 views in one day. Again, for a what? Well, come on. For a channel that only has around 3,000, that's pretty fucking. That's extraordinarily good. That's like I had 300 something when my Lego Hulk video hit like 40,000. So I had a moment kind of like this. Obviously, hers is a little more important because it's not about Lego Hulk versus the Abomination. But we're going to go ahead and check this out.
I work in fast food, and as do over 4 million Americans. Trump recently went to a McDonald's, Pennsylvania to work there for a little bit and engage with voters, and the liberal media is having a meltdown over it. And this has really solidified for me that they hate people like me. They think they're too good, too educated for people like me. And I actually have 2 bachelor's degrees, but I graduated into a Biden-Harris economy.
Ooh.
So really, anyone at any time could have to work in fast food. Now, look at this headline really quick, where it says that what Trump did was humiliating. I wasn't aware my job was humiliating. And, you know, this press insists that, oh, that's not what they meant, but they could not come up with a sufficient explanation as to what they meant after being called out for saying something so incredibly out of touch and rude. Like, you know, Trump did something really great for his public image when the media starts whipping out the he has dementia allegations. And I encourage anyone who hasn't watched the clips of Trump at McDonald's to watch them. He was
More than likely
so
going to.
genuinely attentive and interested in how things worked there. At one point, he was in awe of how the fry scooper made sure your hands didn't get dirty. And he did this for a bunch of reasons. One, to poke fun at Kamala because she lied, saying that she worked at McDonald's when that was not true. And she specifically said that she worked the fryer. It's just so interesting how she feels like she has to lie to relate to normal people. Why can you not just relate to normal people? Trump also
She has nothing relatable about her.
He could speak to his Pennsylvania supporters. And the media is running this weird campaign where they're calling what Trump did staged because all of the people who got to go through the drive-thru were hand-selected and vetted by Secret Service. Yeah, I bet they were, considering they were in cars where they could hide weapons and that they were going to be within 2 feet of the president. Like, what did the media think?
Hello. I'm glad there's someone that fucking gets it. Hold on, the cat's acting weird. Come on. You went out there. This is what you have to do. Anywho, like I was saying, they wouldn't just let randomized people come through after a couple attempts. Come on, people.
What was going to happen? They were going to let potentially aggressive people through the drive-thru with weapons so they could argue with Trump through the drive-thru window? What about that is staged?
Oh, she did it. Yeah. So if you guys don't know the backstory behind the AOC thing, and that's what I was looking for my video. I couldn't fucking whatever. AOC went to an empty parking lot and had some camera crews and I think her own people come up with like cameras and shit and took camera shots of her crying at the border when it was an empty parking lot, and they just adjusted the angle a little bit to make it look like she was at the border. She was crying. She was doing all kinds of things. Democrats are actors that are trying to be politicians, okay? And they are shitty actors at that.
Super sweet how he interacted with the voters. He was shaking their hands, thanking them for coming. There was one couple that thanked him for taking a bullet for us, and they were so excited to see him. The husband of that couple said, "Thank you for taking the time to meet ordinary people like us." And Trump was like, "There's nothing ordinary about you." It was so cool. He also spoke to the press through the drive-thru window.
Oh yeah, I saw that clip.
In an incredible fashion, just ignored their baiting and asinine questions. It was incredible. He also wished Kamala a happy birthday and said he was going to give her a hamburger. And the final reason why Trump did this was because he loves McDonald's. We all know he is, he genuinely loves the product. So of course he's going to have respect for the people who work there. It's just crazy to think about how Trump is the working class president people thought Obama was going to be. He's a billionaire that gave up his celebrity friends, his lavish lifestyle, to save the American people. The Democrats were supposed to be the party of unions, but now in 2024, you have a lot of unions, including the Teamsters, who are refusing to endorse the Democrat candidate. This is unheard of. Trump also got to shine a light on these working class people who aren't even making living wages, but they're still being pummeled by the media who...
Yeah, so let's talk about the whole living wage thing. So from my 2 years experience working at McDonald's, when I moved to Tennessee, there was one, because we moved to Chattanooga, right? And we lived off of Rossville Boulevard. Now, Rossville Boulevard is just a hop, skip, and jump to Georgia. Well, that was the closest McDonald's that was, it seemed kind of sane because there was some questionable people working at the one next to the house. Anyway, I went there and I went to do an interview, and I interviewed for a management position because, like I mentioned in my video, previous experience, I was a personnel manager. And they're like, okay, yeah, you know what? We'll have you retrained for 2 weeks, and then we'll put you on as management. And I was like, sweet. $12 an hour. Management. 12. Management. I'm going to be going to a fucking bus garage getting 22 an hour. Part-time. $12 for management. So that probably means that the people lower, the team lead, I can't remember what they're called, head cooks or whatever. They're not head chefs. I forget the terminology because it's been a couple years. When I was management, that was like 2017. So it's been a couple of years, 7 years. They're probably doing about 10, and then the normal people staff are probably doing somewhere between 8 and 9, which is exactly what I was making in high school when I was working for them. So McDonald's hasn't changed all that much whenever it comes to the money and the stuff that you get per hour. But $12 an hour is a shift manager. Yeah.
Say they are oppressive because of their skin color. He treated these people like people who had important things to say, and it was really refreshing to see. The media's favorite attack on Trump is that he's racist, sexist, and this came from the fact that his original supporters were the white working class who defected from the Democrat Party after they were effectively abandoned by the Democrat Party. But now, 8 years later, you have women and minorities going to vote for Trump in droves. They are shifting over. And you can pretend that being
Yeah, I think I saw poll results where Trump now has like 49% of the Hispanic vote, like
illegal immigration is somehow racist, but working class people of all races know that is not the case. I live in Miami, where the vast majority of people are non-white, and so far, according to early voting, they are greatly in favor of Trump and his policies. The Democrat Party intended to replace the white working class with this new coalition of imported voters, but as it turns out, with every election cycle, minorities are voting increasingly for Trump. Trump is gaining ground with these people who were supposed to be the new Democrat voting base. And if the media was smart, they would pretend that this McDonald's thing never happened, because it was objectively a great PR move. But
It was,
they can't
yeah.
because they hate Trump, they have Trump derangement syndrome, and they hate the working class. They also want to detract from Kamala going on a sex podcast, insulting the average American's sensibilities and interest in policy on Brett Baier, and her failure to appeal to the Catholic base by skipping the Al Smith dinner. What was filmed at McDonald's really showcased Trump's reverence for us Americans, and I can't recommend you watch it enough. You just have to see it for yourself.
Yeah. Definitely going to be checking that out. That is for sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from a lady. If you want the whole equality thing, you heard it from a guy. Now you heard it from a lady. About how this is all being handled. She did it a little bit more a big picture than I did, because I was mostly responding to an article from an executive chef at McDonald's. And yeah, I appreciate that she stuck with the big picture, because my thing was I was like, okay, first of all, McDonald's doesn't have a fucking executive chef. And working the fry station's not that hard. You just have to be consistent and fast. That's it. And then someone literally came into the comments of that video and said, well, no shit, it's fast food. Exactly. Yeah, and they're running with it. And then, interestingly enough, now put your tinfoil hats on right now. Tinfoil, not Tim Pool. There is an E. coli breakout in McDonald's, and I think it was like 10 states. I don't want to say that it's a targeted attack against McDonald's for letting Trump do this, but the timing couldn't be better. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just talk down in the comments below. Make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, turning on bell notifications so you know whenever I do a video or do a live stream. Make sure you go check her out. I said her name at the beginning of the video, and I'll see y'all later.